some of the important things we want to look at is being involved. How many people here react well if I say, you're going to go and do this in this way, and this is your goal? Anybody reacting? What's a better way to do that?
Ask them what their goals are.
That's right. And look at ways to help them make a plan to achieve that. Because if it's your goal, how much more motivated are you? Precisely. Any other thoughts on setting goals? Anybody want to be told what their goal is? Of course not. Experience. We all have our own experience, and if we start tying those in to how we're dealing with our goals, it's like Roman's story earlier. We can tie that in and say, okay, there's an experience. There's a method that was used. How can I tie that into my goal? How can I use that to find the gap and to create my own learning, whether it's personally or whether it's as part of a workshop or some education that you're presenting? You've got all of those possibilities to deal with and to work through.
With feedback.
Feedback is definitely, yeah, for sure. What kind of feedback would you be looking for?
Constructive feedback.
Yeah?
Well, it's like you said, everyone was saying he normally does a survey at the beginning to find out what the audience knows and doesn't.
That's right.
Anything?
True. Any other thoughts on how to fill gaps?
Instead of shaking, you can put a bridge in between to fill the gap.
Yes?
Instead of shaking is a little bit harder, right? So we don't have to do
Building
You
bridges.
can create
Yeah.
a bridge to fill the gap so that it is easy.
Or filling with skills, you know.
Yes? Okay, any more ideas on filling gaps? All right. Relate the material to practical. Hey, that's why we're all here. Who can relate Roman's story earlier today to something practical for them? Okay, Anna. Go ahead.
To be open-minded and receive any feedback with an open mind. So even after 15 years of writing in English and speaking English, somebody saying this is not writing, you don't have to be upset. Take it as it is and do whatever the teacher said. And follow the feedback, adopt the feedback, and don't get it personally. So if this is not logic what I read, so I'm stupid, yeah? So you don't have to make assumptions, you know. Just because I don't put logic in my writing doesn't mean I'm stupid. I don't know the basics of writing. I don't know how to write an essay because I didn't study here, right? So if somebody's telling me, I say, okay, but if somebody studies here for 15 years and somebody says, you don't know how to write, I would be upset, you know?
So you're saying the story's giving you a different interpretation. Instead of interpreting that feedback of go to this writing class as, oh, I suck, it's you have this to develop in the way you apply the English language, because it's a second language that is, of course, infinitely more difficult. And you take that in a way that builds you rather than destroys you, and that's choice, but it's also interpretation. Who else can relate that story to something for them? Ashley?
I thought the moral of the story for me was the importance of getting a coach and somebody who knows more than you.
Yeah. Same story, two different morals. Who's got another?
So that's a
Yeah.
learning point. That's a point that I can come to later. And now that you said it, I can use it to teach something, to put the content on.
Or are you open to recognize it? Because again, that goes back to yourself. The person may be doing all the right things, but if your vision is here, you may not see that there's someone who can help you or can contribute to you. Dishesh, you were going to say something about that. No? You're just being very quiet today? Okay. Any other ideas as to how that story might relate to somebody's personal life?
When the student is ready, the master will appear. So that's why Roman listened to the teacher, because he was ready, right?
Yeah.
And the teacher was his master in a way.
Yeah, that's very true. Good point.
So that's a principle, right? It's such a famous principle that they quote Buddha for saying that, right? I think it's Buddha. So this is a summary.
That's right. We need to be involved. I personally do really badly when people tell me what to do and how to do it. My bosses have all learned this. We need to relate material to our experience. If you feel like something is completely foreign to you, you're going to struggle more. If I stand up here and tell you a story about my cats, the cat lovers in the room are going to rejoice. The people who don't have cats may have a little bit more difficulty relating to what I'm talking about. Now, if I spin the story skillfully enough, you may still find something that resonates with you, but I'm going to have to work a little harder to do that. If we don't know where the gaps are, we can't understand how important filling them is. Anna's analogy at work has been a very good one, where she's talking about two departments that are having issues. The fact that there's a gap is clear. The fact that it needs to be filled is clear. She's on to the point where she needs to look at how on earth to do this, because this is a problem. And so she's already partway down that path. And relating things to daily life and work. I know for me, I can certainly look at ways to apply gap analysis in my own life, whether in my family, at my office, or in my Toastmasters life. How many other people can find a way to relate this to some part of their life? Yeah, a lot of people. I got it. And we have Malcolm Knowles, who I read a little bit more about this morning because I didn't know a whole lot about him. He is the father of what we call andragogy. Those of you who studied education may know that pedagogy is the science of teaching children. Andragogy is the science of teaching adults. And Malcolm, I'm sorry?
Such an ugly word.
Yeah.
It is rather. Anything that ends with God just seems to be sort of an awkward-looking word. Unfortunately, no one consulted me when designing the word, so I guess we're staying with it. He spent a lot of time designing areas and really studying how adults learn differently from children, starting around World War II and I believe up until about his death, and really applied a lot of the knowledge and information and principles that we're looking at right here today. So Malcolm's the guy we had to thank.